everyone, this is Gales here today, and bringing you guys once again back for another guide on showing you guys on how to get every single weapon found in the Dungeon Quest series. Today we're going to be looking at the weapons found on the King's Castle, Insane and Nightmare difficulty. So this is one of the second maps that was first introduced in Dungeon Quest. It was actually made on April 6th of 2019, and this is the second time that it holds both the Insane and Nightmare difficulty, just like we did last time with Pirate Island. Now remember guys, the details that I give in the video, including weapons, armors, and spells, may not match up to the ones I give on the wiki. They're just here to simplify out, so if there are any problems with the wiki, basically they're inaccurate, please let me know in the comments and I'll fix the video for you. And the rarities that I include in the video may affect the damage output wise of the health, and this includes uncommons, epics, and rares. The only times we're going to be able to see them are basically the common ones, weapons that are given out, so that matches up the description so that anyone does not get the confusion. If you are new and want to say subscribe for more of my channel for more of my future content, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more of whenever I upload. I hope you're all doing well today, and let's get started with today's guide video on King's Castle. So, there isn't a lot going on with King's Castle like before with Pirate Island. It just introduced the two new difficulties, Insane and Nightmare, just only like that before, so last time. So, let's just begin right along with it and get started with these Insane and Nightmare difficulties. So for the first two weapons that we're going to be introducing today that are under level 70 are going to be the Goblin Cleaver and the Tribal Staff. The Goblin Cleaver holds a base average of 2,500 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 140,000 gold, and players must be at least level 69 in order to equip this weapon. And for the second half of the weapon that we're introducing is the Tribal Staff. The Tribal Staff is also another weapon that's found on the Dungeon Quest on the King's Castle Insane difficulty. It deals a base average like before with the Goblin Cleaver of 2,500 spell power in total. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 69 in order to equip this staff. Now for the ones that we're going to get in level 70 are going to be one of the first ever weapons to be made in a dual type weapon class. So there's actually a few weapons that are made for dual class specific weapons. However, you can only equip that weapon with the right arm basically, so that it actually just has one weapon instead, so you can equip two weapons in general. And the first ones being the dual cutlasses. The dual cutlasses is also introduced, deals a base average of 3,000 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 140,000 gold, and players must be at least level 70 in order to equip these dual weapons. This is also one of the first dual weapons that you'll see in the Dungeon Quest as well, and you'll also see a few more of these when I'm going to introduce the dual weapons as well when we get later on into the King's Castle. The next weapon we're introducing today is the Beast Cleaver, which is a much more upgraded version of the Goblin Cleaver, except it does dealing more damage in total. So it deals a base average of 3,500 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 140,000 gold, and players must be at least level 70 in order to equip this weapon. Here we have the second types of dual weapons that you'll get in Dungeon Quest, and that is the dual royal axes. The dual royal axes deals a base average of 4,000 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 140,000 gold, and players must be at least level 70 in order to equip this weapon. And the next staff that we introduced today is the Eagle Staff. The Eagle Staff deals a base average of 3,500 damage of per spell power. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 70 in order to equip this staff. And the next staff we're introducing today is the Infernal Sun Staff. The Infernal Sun Staff deals a base average of 4,000 spell power in total, and can be upgraded like many other weapons in the game. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 70 in order to equip this weapon. The next one being the Elven Staff. It deals a base average of 4,000 spell power in total. It can be sold for, once again, of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 70 in order to equip this staff. Now for the next type of weapon today we have is one of the two second high tiers that you can get in the insane difficulty, are the Heavenly Great Sword. The Heavenly Great Sword deals a base average of 4,500 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 140,000 gold, and players must be at least level 71 in order to equip this weapon. Now for the next one being the Apothecary Staff. The Apothecary Staff deals a base average of probably a little bit over 5,000, of around 5,000 damage per swing. I don't know if it's going to be the same average damage like before with the Heavenly Greatsword of 4,500, but I think it probably might be a little bit more damage. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 71 in order to equip this staff. Now there are 4 spell drops that you can get in the insane difficulty. The first ones being the Chain Heal, which is the next type of healing spell that you ever get in this dungeon, which the Chain Heal sends out a healing beam which bounces off of players to other players. The Chain Heal is very much a necessary good weapon, a good healing spell, a really good healing spell if you want to combine that with the Universal Heal, because it really does help you basically with that as well, thus being Universal Heal being very broken before the nerf. So if you want to combine this with 2 Chain Heals, I say it's recommended if you really want to have it. I mean, it's really good if you really want to use 2 Chain Heals or 1 Universal Heal at a time, so if you want to use that to combine. So this is the perfect healing spell for you. The Chain Heal has a cooldown of 6 seconds, which the rarity is a rare. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 68 in order to equip this healing spell. This is perfect for mages, so here's an example of what it looks like from the gallery, as you can see right here. The only issue about this Chain Heal basically is you have to be very close to the person. You have to be close to the person as you can possible. It has a very weird mechanic of the range, so if you want to get used to it, be my guest if you want to stick with Universal Heal for one of them. The second spell drop we have today is a warrior spell drop, basically, and that is going to be the Glacial Blows. Glacial Blows creates a row of glacial crystals 4 times simultaneously. It has a cooldown of 5 seconds, which functions as a physical damage for warrior classes, and the rarity is a rare. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 69 in order to equip it. The next spell in the game we have is the Thunderous Blast. The Thunderous Blast summons a bolt of lightning crashing down thunder all at once. Thunderous Blast is a pretty good starter weapon for mage. It really does help you. It has some good range decently, but it helps just like before with the Lightning Strike and other spells that have one's uses. But the cooldown has a cooldown of 3 seconds, which the rarity is uncommon. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 70 in order to equip this Thunder Blast spell. And the next spell, which is rarely used for tank, is Guardian's Blessing. Guardian's Blessing creates a small circle around you that gives you and allies a shield of 20% of their max health for 3 seconds. It has a cooldown of 14 seconds, which functions as a tank ability spell, and the rarity is a rare. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 70 in order to equip this spell. In order to equip this spell drop. And now we have the first 3 armor drops that you can get on the insane difficulty, which is going to be the Barbaric armor set. So as I was looking for these Barbaric sets armor, I cannot find the actual damage output for both the warrior and the mage sets of these armors. So unfortunately I cannot find them. I'm very sorry about that, but I will give actually the range of the total health points. Basically it offers a base average of 6,500 health points for this one, while the other one for the mage set has 7,500 health instead. I'm not sure if it was a mistake or not, but it could just be 6,500 instead. So each piece will be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 70 in order to equip both these armor sets. And also the Guardian set has also a base average of 17,500 health points for that one as well. And now for the weapons that are found in the King's Castle Nightmare difficulty. The first two weapons that are found in level 74 that you can get for the lower tier of weapons are going to be the High Priest Battle Axe and the Moonlight Staff. The High Priest Battle Axe is a melee weapon that is found in the Dungeon Quest Nightmare difficulty. It deals a base average of 5,000 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 200,000 gold, and players must be at least level 74 in order to equip this weapon. The other level 74 weapon today is the Moonlight Staff. The Moonlight Staff, it deals a base average of 5,000 damage, but unfortunately, but it says in the wiki site that it actually deals a base average of 6,000 damage or something like that. I don't know if this is a mistake from the developer's part. It can be sold for a total of 225,000 gold, and players must be at least level 74 in order to equip this staff. For the next weapons being the Pietro Great Axe. I don't know how you pronounce Ephriel, or I don't even know, but it deals a base average of 6,000 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 25,000 gold, and players must be at least level 75 in order to equip this weapon. The dual frozen blades deals a base average of 7,000 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 75 in order to equip this weapon. The next weapons being the Dual Infernal Slicers. The Dual Infernal Slicers deals a base average of 8,000 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 225,000 gold, and players must be at least level 75 in order to equip this weapons. This is also one of the fourth weapons to introduce the dual weapon mechanic. For the next staff being the Arclight Staff. Arclight Battle Staff. The Arclight Battle Staff deals a base average of 8,000 spell power in total. It can be sold for a total of 225,000 gold, and players must be at least level 75 in order to equip this staff. The next mage weapon being the Sunlight Staff, which is the opposite version of the Moonlight Staff. The Sunlight Staff deals a base average of 6,000 spell power in total. It can be sold for a total of 225,000 gold, and players must be at least level 75 in order to equip this staff. And for the next one being the Celestial Fire Staff. The Celestial Fire Staff deals a base average of 7,500 damage in spell power total. It can be sold for a total of 225,000 gold, and players must be at least level 75 in order to equip this staff. Fun fact about this staff is actually the one that the Archmage mini-boss uses, which is a much more darker version of it, being the purple one. Now for the second tier up, higher tiers of these weapons that you can get, which are a little bit more powerful that you can get for higher ones before you get the legendaries, and that is going to be the dual Jade Daggers. The dual Jade Daggers deals a base average, is one of the fifth dual weapons that you'll get in the King's Castle Nightmare difficulty. It deals a base average of 9,000 damage in total per swing. It can be sold for a total of 250,000 gold, and players must be at least level 76 in order to equip this weapon. This is one of the second best melee weapons you can get in the King's Castle dungeon, and the other second best weapon that you can get is the Fire and Ice Staff. It deals a base average of 9,000 spell power in total per swing, but in the wiki it says it was 11,000 spell power in total. I'm not sure if this is a mistake once again, but it could be a little bit oversight of the rarities. It can be sold for a total of 250,000 gold in total. It can be sold for a total of 250,000 gold, and players must be at least level 76 in order to equip this staff. And finally, for the two legendaries in the game that you can get only on the Nightmare difficulty, that only once under count that you can only get, sadly, and those are going to be the Beastmaster War Scythe and the Beastmaster Spell Scythe. The Beastmaster Spell Scythe deals a base average of 14,000 to 15,000 damage per swing, or depending on which the scythe you get, if it's a war or a spell scythe. It can be sold for a total of 300,000 gold in total, and players must be at least level 77 in order to equip these weapons. So if you really want to get your shot on the Beastmaster War Scythe or the Spell Scythe, my recommendation is the Spell Scythe because of the lowest damage outputs, because now ever since Warrior's damage output got nerfed, then my best bet is to put on the Spell Scythe if you can, if you ever have a chance. So it's really good for you if you really want to have it. And for the drop rates of both these weapons have a 0.2% chance, which is a 1 in every 500 runs. Used to be higher before, but now they actually nerfed the difficulty because of the new legendaries being added to the new dungeons. Now for the free spell drops that you can get in the Nightmare difficulty, we have the first one being the Blade Throw, which is a really good warrior spell if you really want to use this. It's really helpful. And the Blade Throw throws a sword boomerang forward, which deals damage, and deals damage again upon coming back, which is a 2 times damage output damage that you can use. It has a cooldown of 5 seconds, which the rarity is being an epic. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 73 in order to equip this Blade Throw. This is again, which yields 2 ticks of damage, which means 6.5, which deals a total of 6.5 damage per swing, depending on how much powerful your damage output for warrior will be. The next mage weapon being for the spell is the Void Beam, which the Void Beam concentrates a beam in front of the user, damaging anything in its path. The Void Beam has a cooldown of 9 seconds, which functions as a mage class spell. It has a rarity of a rare. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 73 in order to equip this spell. And finally, for the last mage spell drop that you can get in King's Castle, used to be one of the most powerful, probably one of the most powerful mage weapons before you can get in King's Castle, but ever since they nerfed it when the Underworld update came out, which is what we're going to get to afterwards when I upload my walkthroughs of the Underworld, and that is the Electric Broom, which summons a ring in front of you, which creates shockwaves inside itself over time. The Electric Broom has a cooldown of 9 seconds, which functions. The rarity for that one is an epic. It can be sold for a total of 150,000 gold, and players must be at least level 75 in order to equip the spell. And now for the last 6 types of armors that you can get in the King's Castle Nightmare, which is most obviously, like last time since Pirate Island, the Beastly Warrior and the Beastly Guardian sets, which we have right here as you can see. Once again, I could not find any info about its damage output wise for this one, but if any of you guys know, let me know in the comments down below and I'll fix the video for it. It offers a base average of 9,500 health points for the warrior, as well as the Archmage set basically. The Archmage set also has 9,500 health points. Well, on top of that, the Guardian set also has a total of 22,000 health points in general. Each piece of armor can be sold for a total of 225,000 gold. Players must be at least level 75 in order to equip these armor sets. And finally, we have the best of armor that you can get in King's Castle, and that is going to be the Titan Forge armor sets. These Titan Forge armor sets are really hard to get in this game. I've tried so many times to get them. I got a few drops from them, but they're really hard to get basically because of its rarity. And just to clarify, this is actually very hard armor to get in the game. Now, I do not know the damage outputs for both of these weapons. I am sorry for these armors, but if you guys know, let me know in the comments and I'll fix any of the changes for you. So for the both Titan Forge Warrior and Mage sets have a base average of 10,500 health points in total, while for the Guardian set of the Titan Forge has a total of 26,000 health for each armor. Each piece can be sold for a total of 300,000 gold, and players must be at least level 77 in order to equip the Titan Forge sets. Well guys, that's going to be it for all of the weapon drops that you can get for the King's Castle difficulty. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. This is Gales here, signing out.